We get a lot of residents.
Until I
using
got
it.
to,
We took all the.
I take 94 home every day, and it's bad now. It's bumper to bumper the whole way now.
All right.
yeah, it's that time.
Josh and Jim, you ready? Ben, you ready? You back there, Ed? Is that better? Okay. All right. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Aaron Tuckfield. I'm the chairperson of the Macomb Township Zoning Board of Appeals, and I'm going to call this regularly scheduled meeting on Thursday, November the 6th at 6:30 p.m. to order. If you could stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, boy. Trouble.
For me.
All right. On to item 3, which is the roll call. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Tuckfield.
Here.
Mr. DeCoster.
Here.
Mr. DeBruin is here. Mr. Piper.
Yes, here.
Mr. Mazzara.
Here.
All regular members present.
All right, very good, and I will note that for the record that this evening is all regular members, and we have a full body and quorum. Item number 4 on the agenda this evening is to address any conflicts of interest. At this time, I will again ask the secretary to call the roll. When each member's name is called, they're going to be asked whether or not they have a conflict on any items tonight. If you have a conflict, please signify by saying yes. If you do not have a conflict, please signify by saying no. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Mazzara.
No.
Mr. Piper.
No.
Mr. DeBruin has none. Mr. DeCoster.
No.
Mr. Tuckfield.
I do not either, no.
All noes.
All right, we're going to move on then to item 5, which is the approval of this evening's agenda. Do we have any discussion or motions on this item?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Mr. Mazzara, is there support?
I will support.
Supported by Mr. Piper. All those in favor of approving tonight's agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed by saying nay. That motion carries, and the agenda for this evening is adopted. The next item on this evening's agenda is the approval of the previous meeting minutes. This would be the meeting of October the 2nd, 2025. I'm going to ask for discussion and motions. I will note that I will be voting present on this one or declining to vote because I was not at that meeting. So any discussion or motions on this item?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with a correction.
Okay.
On page 4, 8C, Mr. DeCoster made a motion to deny the variance, and him and Mr. Piper said yes, and me and Mr. Gamichia said no, so it's opposite written on the meeting minutes.
So it says motion by DeCoster, seconded by Piper, to deny the variance. I see. And this says DeCoster and Piper nay.
Yep.
Demikia and Mazzara.
Switched,
aye.
yep,
Okay.
switched.
Mr. Box, you're following that?
Yep, I got you.
Okay. With that being said, is there a motion on the amended minutes?
I'll make that motion.
You made the motion
You
already,
mean,
yes.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Mazzara, supported by Mr. Piper to approve the amended minutes correcting the votes on the item for 8C. There's a motion, a second, so I'm just going to call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by saying nay. And I am abstaining.
And then for the record, I abstained as well. I was
Okay,
not
I
in
believe you were
attendance.
not there as well. Okay, so that motion passes 3-0. Those minutes are passed. All right, that moves us on to item 7A, which is old business. I believe this is actually what the minutes were referencing. This is a request to vary from section 10.0311 EF3. This would be with regards to a pool and a structure. Mr. Box, could you please take us through this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. As you mentioned, this is a variance request for a pool. The applicant is requesting a variance to install a pool 5 feet within the primary or principal structure when 10 feet is required. The location is on Yale Drive, which is in the Fieldstone Estate subdivision. So as you see here on the screen, the pool is 5 feet. There is a little bit of a cutout on the house there, the 11 feet by 16 feet. So the house itself is not a perfect rectangular shape like many houses are. There is a 12-foot easement in the rear of the house. The lot itself is 75 feet by 120 feet. 70 feet is the minimum width of a lot, so it's actually a little bit bigger than a standard lot. So with regards to the variance, as I mentioned, they're looking to have the pool 5 feet from the principal structure when 10 feet is required. The board shall not approve an application for a variance unless it has established definitively that these 3 items are met. That being compliance with the strict letter of the restrictions governing the area, setback, frontage, height, bulk, or density would unreasonably prevent the owner from using the property. A grant of the variance applied for would do substantial justice to the applicant as well to other property owners in the district, or a lesser relaxation than applied for would give substantial relief. And relief can be granted in such a fashion that the spirit of the ordinance will be observed and public safety and welfare secured. So with regards to the compliance of the strict letter of the restrictions governing the area, as I mentioned, the pool is 32 feet by 15 feet with a brick paver pool deck surrounding the entire pool. The home is lot 53 within Fieldstone Estates, again, 120 feet by 75 feet with a 12-foot easement at the rear of the property. The lot is not in a regular shape. It's very rectangular. The home itself, however, is not rectangular and does have a portion of the rear that extends 11 feet longer than the rest of the house. I do want to point out, like I did last time, yes, they have a 12-foot easement. However, easements exist on almost every lot in the township. Some are 6 feet, some are 12 feet, some are in between there, but most every lot has some sort of an easement in the rear for a storm sewer. With regards to the shape of the house, it could be considered a self-created issue. While these owners may not be the ones who actually built the home, it was created, and they purchased it that way. Staff will defer to the ZBA to determine if this unreasonably prevents them from using the property. With regards to granting the variance, would it do substantial justice? A grant of the variance would give substantial relief to the property owner to be able to build a pool within the rear yard. The applicant is proposing to comply with all other setbacks and regulations. Relief be granted in such a fashion that the spirit of the ordinance will be observed and public safety and welfare secured. We would defer to the applicant if they can provide more information on that. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Box. Is there any questions for Mr. Box from the board? Hearing none and without objection, if the petitioners are in the audience, if you could come forward to the seats here at the podium, state your name and address for the record, and give any comments you might have.
I am Melissa Kiefsky, and we reside at 49543 Yale Drive, Macomb, Michigan.
All right, thank you.
And I'm Frank Kiefsky. Do I need to say the address again?
I think it's fine.
49543 Yale Drive, Macomb, 48044.
Sounds good. And go ahead and feel free to sit down.
Okay. I think I'm more
We're not
comfortable
quite used to
standing.
this particular structure yet, but
I think this is new. It wasn't here.
yes.
Can we give you guys some material?
Yes,
Just
just
a-
bear in mind, yeah, why don't you give them to Ben?
Yeah,
We try not to have people trip on the step. It's
appreciate that.
not a good thing. Ed, are you able to pick them up on the microphone? Okay.
Should I sit? It's better to sit. I don't know what to do. Do you want me at the podium?
We don't know either. You're welcome to do whichever is more comfortable.
Thank you, guys.
This is more comfortable.
Other than I probably would stand there or sit there, too.
Am I able to go ahead and I prepared something to read?
Go ahead, yes.
We are respectfully requesting a variance to allow an in-ground pool 5 feet from our principal residence along the diagonal instead of the required 10 feet. Our property includes a 12-foot sewer easement, double the typical size in our neighborhood. Because the street behind us lacks a sewer system, our lot carries the full easement rather than sharing it. This, combined with the family room bump out, limits our usable rear yard to 23 feet. After the 10-foot setback and coping, only 9 feet remain for a pool. This practical difficulty was not self-created, as we did not build the home and inherited both the easement and lot design. There is a clear precedent in Macomb Township for granting pool setback variances. The ZBA has approved variances reducing the required 10 feet separation from the principal structure to as little as 4.5 feet in similar circumstances. I'd specifically like to draw attention to the variance granted to Dan and Jennifer Feldman, in which they were approved for the 5-foot variance due to our sewer easement reducing their yard. You can find the board minutes highlighted at the first yellow tab. There are 4 other instances referenced by the additional yellow tabs in which the ZBA approved the 5-foot variance. Since the pool would not be within the 10 feet on each side of our family room bump out, it will still allow the fire department in an emergency to have the required space to angle a ladder, although that part of our house is a single story. We have included a highlighted plot plan for your reference. Without the variance, any pool installed would be much smaller than a standard pool, and given the substantial cost of installation, it would not provide meaningful use or value. Frank coaches both of our boys' Little League teams. We envision team gatherings, but believe a 9-foot wide pool would be unsafe to host any get-together. In addition, our homeowners association does not allow above-ground pools, leaving an in-ground pool as our only option. We purchased our house 17 years ago and loved the neighborhood so much that my mom and sister moved into our neighborhood, both living within walking distance. Our 2 boys, ages 8 and 11, have established friendships in the neighborhood and are thriving in their highly accredited schools. It is unrealistic for us to walk away from our community and family to find a house that has a yard more conducive to installing a pool. We have planted roots and plan to stay in our home forever and want to enhance our property with our 2 boys in the forefront of our minds. We believe that denying this variance would effectively prevent us from enjoying a standard amenity available to other Macomb Township homeowners. The variance would not negatively impact neighboring properties or community aesthetics. We not only have the support of our neighbors, but letters urging the ZBA board to vote in favor included in the provided folder as well. Thank you for your time and review.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I wanted to thank you guys. I was unable to make it last time, but I was able to watch it, the live stream from my tree stand. So I was able to see, and I do remember somebody asking about, did we look at other avenues? And we did. We were looking at much more fiscally responsible options, but those gave us, a very, back to the same 10-foot by 26-foot. And then we were still going to be coming back to you guys and asking to put concrete over the easement according to that company. So we went with the company that gave us a few more options, and we also have the problem of getting in between the houses. So the fiberglass couldn't fit in between the houses the way that this company did. So it's kind of why we went with that.
Custom gunite option.
Very good. Any questions for the applicants from the board? I should note, just procedurally, I was not at the last meeting either. At that particular time, and that's why we're back here this evening, there was a tied vote. We have 5 members tonight, so that will not be an issue.
Okay.
Also, myself and Mr. DeBruin here, we're not here, so I have not watched the videos. I try to make sure that I'm coming here and absorbing it in the official setting. So if I do end up asking a repetitive question, just understand that's why.
Oh, good. No worries.
For the record. So, okay. With that said, was there any questions for the applicant? Hearing none and without objection, I'm going to open this up to the public. Is there any member of the public who wishes to speak on this request? We haven't really figured out protocol on this. If we do, we'll probably have you guys sit down and have somebody speak at the podium. But honestly, this is the second time we've had a meeting that I've been part of with this, so I'm not sure how we'll do it yet. Anybody want to speak on this? Seeing none and without objection, I'm going to close the public portion and bring it back to the board. I did have a question. So this is a custom gunite pool, not a hard shell, which obviously allows you. And again, this sounds like it may have been a question that was gone down before, but I'm going to ask it for my own edification. Without putting down measurements and doing all the work myself, it appears that a different shape could fit within the various setbacks and still give you the same square footage. Was there other designs that looked into that? And I guess what was your thinking as far as not going in that direction?
So to keep the cost reasonable, I mean, obviously the rectangle shape I think is preferred from the contractor perspective rather than, edges and jigs and jags, so that it's very much more custom. So our hope was to make it financially less of a burden. Yes, there is some opportunity to adjust shapes, but regardless of how we did it, without having the variance, it significantly cuts back the square footage of the total pool with the dimensions, because off that corner of the bump out, coming 10 feet off of that is pretty significant when you walk it, like
On
with a
the
tape measure
radius.
with the radius, it's a pretty significant amount of the yard that you're cutting into.
And Mr. Box, just to confirm, we would count that on a radius from that corner, is that correct?
Would be 10 feet wherever the closest point is,
Wherever the
10
closest
feet,
point
yep.
is. Okay. All right. Also, Josh, refresh my memory on this. They have a fair amount of side yard here, or at least more than normal. It's like maybe 17 or 18 feet. What is there, do we have restrictions on going into the side yard with the pool? I don't recall.
There's setbacks from the side yard, yes, but it's off the
It's
top
the
of my head.
7.5
I think it's the
feet
7.5 feet, yes.
Okay. So in
It might even
theory,
be less than that. It might even be 5 feet, actually. The more I think about that, I think it's 5 feet. So yes.
oh, it did reduce to 5 feet, didn't it? Okay. All right, I think that was all my questions. Anything else from the board? Actually, I did have a question for Mr. Aloya. The applicants did mention a number of cases, and I was sort of listening and reading at the same time, so
Understand.
trying to do justice to both. They look like they're spaced probably from 2019 to 2023. Can you speak to past cases and our ability to consider them, or how does a past case where we granted a variance for a similar portion of the ordinance, how does that affect us this evening?
It really doesn't. So each application is different, and you are to consider each application on its own merits. By the very nature, each real property is unique, and each circumstance is unique. So we don't have the benefit of understanding the facts and circumstances that were presented at that hearing. I know we have minutes, but we weren't there. So if there's some similar circumstances that you feel may apply, that's up to you, but really it's not binding on us, so.
Okay. And for the record, actually, I believe I was there for, well, at least all the meetings that I glanced through. And so I am thinking about how we normally account for this, but I just want to make sure we had that settled. Okay, with that being said, is there any other questions or discussion or motions on this item?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Mr. DeCosta.
I was just going to mention something to the same. I think I was at many of these meetings as well. Each one is unique. I don't remember each one of these cases, and we're looking at minutes. But again, my view of it is I don't see the practical difficulty. Some of these cases probably had a pie-shaped lot or a larger easement or some sort of unbuildable area on their property that made it unique. I don't necessarily see it here. I understand to maximize the pool area and to provide a good size, but I don't see the practical difficulty. That's my issue.
Okay.
I did do some research on the Feldman one, and their lot is 150 for the depth, whereas ours is 120. And so their usable space was actually greater than what our usable space is, just for what it's worth. And their entire pool was within 5 feet of their house, not just on the radius. I know it doesn't,
Well, as Mr. Box alluded,
right.
part of what we're looking for is there something specific about the property that is different? And so that's why it becomes difficult to compare and
Right.
why we're generally not supposed to. Go ahead, Mr.
I just want to make sure that the board has seen the residence letters, which are in there for the record, to make sure it's part of the record.
We did get both of our neighbors, both sides of us. They did provide reference letters where they were in agreement. And then also, because the letter goes out to everyone who lives within 500 feet of you, we had a lot of people reach out and ask about it. And we indicated what happened, and they asked what they could do to try to help us. And so they provided letters as references as well.
Yeah, no, the house behind us is on it's on the dirt road there. It's on an acre lot. The house is uninhabitable. It has been for
17 years.
since we've owned our house. So there's nobody that ever lives there, and it's tough because we're doing this so we can enjoy our backyard. Right now, it's tough to even go back there with the eyesore that's back there. The people that own it just use it to store garbage per se. It's just kind of randomness. But yeah, the house was 17 years ago when it sold, when we first moved in, was the floor was so rotten that it was not habitable.
Well, I would certainly encourage you to talk to there's appropriate people at the township code enforcement.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not dismissing it, but I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
say,
yeah.
I would certainly speak to that. I'm gonna take just a minute here and read this letter.
Okay.
Because I was trying to split attention, and I wanted to make sure I do both things justice. so
Thank
give me
you, we
just a moment.
appreciate that.
Can I interject with a question real quick?
Go ahead, Mr. Piper.
I'm just looking at the very first letter from the next door neighbor. They have a pool. Is their pool smaller that there's fit within the ordinance?
They installed it before the codes changed from what they told us.
Okay. That's,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I understand. So,
Yeah, I believe theirs is 8 feet from the house.
Okay, and just for the record, we did get a packet here, which does have a number of letters here, plus some minutes from previous meetings.
She's very thorough.
Okay. With that said, I'm bringing it back to the board for any comments or questions or motions. Well,
Trying to not give one.
hearing none, I guess I'll make a motion. And I'll do the motion. The motion would be with regards to item 7A, that would be for permanent parcel 0821377023. The motion would be to deny the variance. This would be because of a lack of practical difficulty relative to the parcel, and based upon the recommendations of the appropriate planning staff and the items that we're hearing this evening with regards to this request. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. DeCoster. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Mr. DeBruin, please call the roll.
Mr. Tuckfield?
Yes.
I am a yes. Mr. DeBruin is a yes. Mr. DeCoster?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Mazzara?
No.
Okay, that motion passed 4-1. We really appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So it was denied?
Okay, that moves us on to item 8A, which is a sign exception to section 20-7B2. This would be a request to allow a 7.5-foot setback from the road right-of-way where 10 feet is allowed. This is for permanent parcel 0809200020. Mr. Box, could you take us through this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. As you mentioned, this is a sign exception, so it's slightly different standards than what we just went through for our variance. And it's for a sign, as you mentioned, requirement is 10 feet from the road right-of-way. They're seeking a sign exception, so it's 2.5 feet from the road right-of-way. So there is an existing sign out there now. I'm sure you've all seen it before. It's on the southwest corner of 25 Mile Road and Broughton Road. So I do want to point out, as you see here, so normally the right-of-way, you can kind of see this purple line here. This house obviously hasn't dedicated the right-of-way, but the line would continue and it would go all the way to the hard corner and then down, much like these ones do here. This is a unique situation. There's a 20-foot notch-out area, so the sign, though it's 2.5 feet from the road right-of-way, it's actually 22.5 feet from where a normal road right-of-way would be. So again, the applicant being the township, they're proposing a ground campus sign that would have two components, one being the electronic informational component and the other one being the logo with some wayfinding signage. So again, the ZBA shall have the authority to grant these exceptions with the following standards. The first one being obstructions. Constructions of a conforming sign would obstruct the vision of motorists, so obviously, due to the irregular shape, a conforming sign would not necessarily obstruct motorists. Visibility due to the irregular shape, it would be difficult to see. It's further, now we're talking 30 feet off the road right of way, when this is going to be used for informational purposes, but also, this important things happening here at Town Hall. This is a voting precinct. We want to make sure people have the way to find the way here. Site features. Construction of a conforming sign would require removal or severe alteration of two significant site features. So there's not any site features necessarily that would be in the way, but because of the reduced road right-of-way or the impact from the road right-of-way, again, visibility and readability of the town sign, it would need to be as close as possible. Scale, this is a pretty standard size for a municipal sign. We see them at a lot of high schools as well, or middle schools, these electronic signs. This is, it meets the size requirements of the sign ordinance. It's just the location that they're seeking a sign exception for. Aesthetics, staff doesn't really anticipate that, this exception would adversely affect the character or appearance of the area. There's already a sign out there. This new sign, yes, it would be electronic, but it allows more information to be provided. And then minimal, again, the town center sign was previously proposed within the clear vision zone. So we actually moved it around when we came to this location. So it's outside of the clear vision zone. However, it is still only 2.5 feet from the road right of way. So again, the intent of this chapter, the intent is that signs can be visible. The large notched out area would really complicate this if we had to set it back an additional 10 feet. So we do feel that placing the sign where it's at would meet the intent of the ordinance. So staff did look at this, and with regards to the findings of fact, I kind of went through all of these already, what I just walked through with regards to obstruction, visibility, site features, scale, aesthetics, minimal, and intent. So obviously with your motions, we ask that you relate your motions one way or the other to some of these findings of fact. But as I mentioned, our departments did look at this. There were no objections from any of the departments.
All right, thank you, Mr. Box, appreciate it. I would note, as I always do, I think we've driven past this evening. I think this item is already somewhat under construction. For both the positive and the negative, we do not take that into consideration here. It's not our prerogative whether it's been built, and it's not pertinent really to what we're deciding. So I usually note that. I don't think we have anybody here except Mr. Box is the applicant, but for the board's benefit and just for the record, I wanted to make sure that I noted that before we got on any questions. With that said, is there any questions for Mr. Box on this
I
item?
do have one quick question.
Go ahead, Mr. Piper.
Why is that set back so far back, or why is that notch there?
Go ahead.
So the honest answer is there really is no good reason. That was done that way 25 years ago when this complex was built. Nobody knows, and I've been around since it was built, nobody knows why that was done that way. I've had conversations with the County Department of Roads. They're more than willing to vacate that right away and give that property back to the township. But it would cost us a bunch of money to have a surveyor go out, do all the survey work, prepare all the documentation, and we would have to then put an easement over the top of it because we have sanitary sewer and other utilities in that area because it's road right away. So
I was just curious why.
it really serves no purpose.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Mr.
I guess this one might be more for Mr. Ello. If we were to make a motion to approve this, could we include a caveat that in the event that the road is widened, that it be looked at again? Because that would change circumstances.
I don't think it's necessary, because if the road's widened, the sign will be removed.
Well, if the road was widened, enough right-of-way is already there. That's the most right-of-way they're ever going to need.
Yeah.
The county has already determined that the 120-foot standard right-of-way, which is 60 on either side, is more than enough for their purposes. The extra 20 feet is over and above that, and they don't really see a need for it.
Very good.
Any other questions? Hearing none, without objection, I'm going to open it up to public comment. Ma'am, if you'd like, please come forward. As mentioned before, you're welcome to sit or stand. I think we only have one microphone, so you'll have to move to whichever position you are. And if you could state your name and address for the record, and then give any comments you have.
Thank you. My name is Jessica Nathan. I live at 51825 Card Road in Macomb. And this is the first time at one of these proceedings, so I just have some general questions about this sign. If there were any objections from the immediate residents that live off of these four corners.
And what I should note is typically what we do is we have you give your comments, and then we'll respond to them when we're
Okay.
done, so it just makes it smoother. So
All
we'll
right, so
keep track of them.
my questions being, what notice and if any objections were received by the residents within the area, and if the sign, how bright it is going to be, if it's going to be on 24/7. This is a relatively quiet area in the evening, and I don't know who's going to be turning around here looking for the city at 10 o'clock at night, so I don't know that it needs to be as bright as, I live next to one of the city's signs, and it is on 24/7, and I don't know anybody looking to pay their water bill at 11 o'clock at night. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Very good, appreciate it. All right, without objection, I'm going to close the public portion, unless ma'am you want to speak. All right, I will bring it back to the board. Mr. Box, what is our noticing requirements on a sign exception?
300-foot notice. It was also published in the newspaper.
Okay.
So those were the notices per state statute. I am not aware of any comments from any neighbors that have been provided to the township. They would typically come to my department. The notices say to give comments to my department, and I have not seen any. With regards to the brightness, our sign ordinance does have illumination standards, so it can only be a certain level, just like any, sign at a gas station or a school or any other place. And no exception for that is being sought at this time. So with that being said, if this were approved, it would have to meet those requirements.
Okay. And a side question to that, Mr. Box, this sign, I think, was part of a past land split or something of that nature, so this would not be relevant to, say, a site plan for the municipal complex?
Correct.
Okay.
I believe one of the questions was, would it be on 24 hours? Would it be on all night?
I don't know that that's really been determined at this point. There's nothing in the ordinance that prohibits that. Lots of businesses do have that. I will also point out that, yes, this is a relatively rural intersection right now. This is also the town center. Literally right across the street, there's commercial development planned. So, in townhomes down Broughton, and the next year and a half, Broughton Road is going to be extended, and a lot of things are going to change in this area. So, right now it's rural. It's not always going to be that way.
Very good. Mr. Box, and I think you may have mentioned it, I might have missed that the main portion of the sign has a video aspect to it, the main portion. What are the ordinance restrictions with regards to moving objects on a sign?
I don't know all the standards off the top of my head, but there are similar requirements within the sign code about, how much movement can be, how often the sign message can change, how quickly it can change. It's similar to what you would see on a billboard. There's not videos playing, not live action,
Still images that will occasionally...
There's still images that will change. That's what it is.
Okay. And the township is not asking for an exception on that
Correct.
item either. Okay, very good. And I do want to mention, with regards to that also, just in passing, we appreciate the township going through, obviously, we're sort of a semi-independent board. The township is not required to bring this before the board, and yet they are, and they typically do with these types of items, which we appreciate. By all rights, the township could just put the sign in, and yet it's advertising it, and it's making sure it comes before us and it passes all the applicable standards. So, same with the brightness level and the video levels. I think, I know I can appreciate that they're doing that the right way. So, all right. Any other questions for Mr. Box or Mr. Aloya? Hearing none, is there any motions for the sign exception? Please remember to touch on one of the items in the sign exception criteria if making a motion to recommend, or pardon me, to approve or deny. I'm not gonna have to make both motions tonight, am I?
I'll make the motion. I will make the motion to approve the signed exception request for permanent parcel 0809200020, and that's based on visibility, obstructions, and the minimalness of this request.
Motion by Mr. DeCoster, is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Mr. Mazzara, is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion on the motion, Mr. DeBruin, please call the roll.
Mr. Mazzara?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
Yes.
I am a yes. Mr. DeCoster?
Yes.
Mr. Tuckfield?
Yes. All right, that motion passes 5-0, and look forward to having a nice sign out there. All right, that moves us on to item 9, which is public comments. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to make a general comment this evening? We usually reserve this for items not specifically on our agenda. Seeing none, I'm going to bring it back to the board for item 10, which is ZBA member comments. Any comments from the board this evening? All right, then I'll move us on to item 11, planning director comments. Mr. Box, anything this evening?
Yes, two things. First, we do have I mentioned this at Planning Commission as well, we do have a non-motorized plan going on right now. There is a survey that's open. I think it's been advertised on all of our social medias at least once, if not multiple times. There's a QR code on the flyers here in the lobby. I think there's some at the library as well. So please participate, take the survey, give us your input on pathways, sidewalks, trails, that type of thing. The second item is most of you, if not all of you, may recall a couple years ago we did a joint session with the Planning Commission and ZBA for a training. We are going to do that again. It's a little bit of short notice because we don't have any items for Planning Commission on Tuesday, November 18th. So we are going to have a joint session in a couple weeks. I hope you guys can make it again. I know it's kind of short notice, but Mr. Aloya and Mr. Carlisle from Carlisle Wortman are going to present, and I think myself, I may have a few things to say as well. It's kind of a training session for all members. So just want to put that on your radar for a couple weeks.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Box, and thank you, Mr. Aloya, for putting those together. Those are always interesting. I think I've done, 5 since I've been on ZBA and Planning Commission, and they're always interesting, so we appreciate it. Item 12 is attorney comments. Mr. Aloya, anything from you this evening?
Nothing.
All right, very good. Moves us on to item 13, which is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Piper,
I'll support.
supported by Mr. Mazzara. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed by saying nay. That motion passes, and at 7:10, we stand adjourned.